This is me just doing a short video again. Today I'm going to talk about exorcism and a little bit about how it's done in different traditions. And before possession there are usually, at least in the Christian way of seeing things, there are 3 stages. One is the fascination, alluring, and you start to get spiritual connections, and the obsession. When you can't stop thinking and obsessing about maybe witchcraft, the occult, porn. It can be a lot of things. Some people start eating food, they only eat or drink. It can be in many different ways. And then after the obsession stage comes the oppression. And that's when you are tormented in a way. You might lose weight, you lose appetite. Some people gain weight and eat a lot. You don't have any joy, everything feels hopeless, everything goes wrong, and you're in a really dark place and you have nightmares all night, and it might feel like you don't wake up from the nightmares that is continuing on all the time. And after that stage comes possession. And that is when the demon or the spirit takes control over you for, let's say, 90% of your capabilities. Powerful demons are known to that they can walk in and out from your body, so when they do exorcisms, the demon might leave and come back another day, so the priest don't even see him. So then they have to take in others who might feel the demon, so it's not so easy to detect and talk to the demon. And if you have one spirit in a possession, then you have 100 others. So it's never just one spirit, like the Baptist and the evangelical churches thinks that you throw out evil spirits with, and it's one. It's never. It's a long process, and there are some that even science has accepted as a fact, that exorcisms that can last for years. And here are some vulnerability factors. This once again it can be a cause, but we were taught that if there were one of these things, then it's more likely to alert for exorcism. So these are deep soul wounds, and they are always done by a parent or elder family member, and or trusted authority in lack of family, if you're adopted or something, or a priest, or someone you trust with your whole life as a child. And then there's incest that can cause these wounds, that you are so disgusted with yourself, you blame yourself, you don't love yourself, and that's an entry point. And rape is as well, especially if you are ostracized by society, that it was your fault, that can, or if a young boy is raped and people say that he was not man enough, and they start treating him that way, that is a young boy can't fight off, let's say, 4 men. So I hate those discussions when they say that rape can't happen to men or boys. And then there is the harsh reality that is far too common nowadays, witnessing murder of family members. And once again there's the betrayal by trusted authority, maybe the child or a young adult or a grow-up tells about all your problems, shares everything within their life, and then they are betrayed and it's used against them in a harmful way. And drug use, I'm talking about like we have had these problems with some drugs. They are laced with fentanyl or something like that, and it's 100 times stronger than heroin, and it can kill you in an instant. And those easier, kinder, natural drugs, they were also laced with those chemical ones. So that's what I mean with harsh drugs. They can kill you in an instant and overdose on the first use. And that's what's been going on in my area when I talk about drugs and are very angry. They are not those, they come from Russia especially, and then other sources, and they are just chemical. They rob the pharmacies and ambulances. And then we have the dabbling in the occult, lacking any real knowledge or spiritual authority. You go into the occult, buy a book, you don't believe in anything, you don't have any real interest, you just try out things for fun, and that's when it can go quite wrong. It rarely does, but it can happen. And in all religions, as far as I can know, there is always this training period on at least 3 years to learn the basics. I received guidance for 21 years, so that is a long tradition as well. Since you have to learn about the hierarchies, trust yourself, how you can help, little bit of psychology, how you can help, and that kind of thing. And since we all have work and we have to support ourselves, that means that it is all your spare time goes into this. And then we have that each religion has their own teachers, and you should always contact for each religion. Like if they are Christian, they should have the priest. If they are Native Americans, Samis or shamans, you contact the shaman or elder and discuss with them. And they feel what they think is right. And you always follow the fate of the person and the family. And now we have had these Orisha-based traditions here in Sweden. I don't know, it always follows if it's popular, then suddenly it pops up this. Of course, with those who come from Africa, they have the real thing, but I mean that they are young Swedish girls that claim that they are working with the Orishas. That's what I mean when I say that they pop up. And they also have these traditional exorcisms. And when these young persons try and dabble in like Orisha or Santeria, hoodoo, voodoo, they don't either know those persons or how it's done in the real way. And that's why it's so difficult to find a real practitioner, since there are many poses out there. And here are some from that I took in, some of the most common things from both the Catholic and the Orthodox Church that you use and might come up. Some common things you might have to do or answer, and be aware here. In some traditions there is a request that you convert to the faith. And that's different between parishes and churches, but they might ask you that you have to become a Catholic or an Orthodox in order for them to even start helping you. But that's different countries as well, so there is always that political thing. And then you have to be open about your mental health history, including your family members. So the parents or the grandparents might not like that you bring out the dirty laundry, and they request that to know, otherwise they don't help. And they ask you about alcohol and drug use and how frequent it is. And then comes the faith and religion. You can never perform an exorcism that goes against the religion or faith of the one who's asking for help. And then there is the morality factor. What are your morals and ethics in this world? How was your character prior to the problems? Did you have any character flaws like lying, stealing, accusing others, etc.? And behavioral changes if you start doing things in a very strange way that you never done before, and you just do different things than you never thought of doing before. And then comes the obsession. It can be porn, gambling, indulgence in fine food, expensive jewelry, and whatever. You are just obsessed with something. And then you tell your whole life story, and that they can check nowadays, especially with internet. And the question of if you practice yoga, Reiki or meditation and travel to the astral realms, etc., that will be asked. And and if you practice channeling spirit, necromancy, witchcraft or mediumship or anything of that kind. And then there is something that happens, especially when people travel abroad a lot nowadays, is that accidental partaking in a ritual. You're in some country and you want to take photos or film, and that was maybe a voodoo ritual in, let's say, Haiti or in Africa or wherever. You might be in France and see something odd going on there with their witchcraft, and you want to film it, and then you suddenly being part of something you don't understand. And some people have been, it's said that they've been, when they visited old tombs and old pyramids and ritual sites and things like that. But that is, I don't know how much truth there is to that, but that's what I found out, what they think about. And as always, in the old doctrines, in the classical theism, the age of reason is 6 years old, so that a child has free will from the age of 6. So the child can say no to a faith from one family member to another, and that was what I did. I went against my mother and chose my father's faith. And there are many struggling with this around the world who has 2 different religions in a family and how they can cause trouble. It's like living in a war zone. And this is just something that is good to know, and if you know any traditions, please write, and if there is an international place for exorcism performers around the world, then it could be good to know how to find them. I've only found Catholic Church online. So, have a magical day. Bye for now.